Hello, this is Professor Smith. Welcome back to EAP English class for engineering students. This is class number 8, which is considered our Thursday, March 27th class. So I want to start out with a little bit of humor. I'm a terrible joke teller. My jokes are really corny and nobody laughs. But I want to try one on you. This is my joke of the day. As you notice, I'm holding my tissue paper. You don't have to worry, I don't have coronavirus or anything like that, but I have bad sinuses, so sometimes, I need to use the tissue paper for my nose, and that relates to our joke of the day. And here's our joke. Do you know why tissue paper is so big in Korea? Do you know why tissue paper is so big in Korea? The answer is because it's hugey. Huge, hugey. Okay, now enough of that, and let's go on to our lesson of the day. What I want to do is introduce you to email writing assignment number 2. You already completed the first email assignment, and we're going to build on that a little bit today, and I will explain how we're going to do that briefly here. Um, we are going to, I'm going to give you a situation, and you need to imagine that you are an engineer and you work for a consulting company, and this consulting company is a environmental engineering firm, and it tests water and soils and things like that for contamination. So in our imaginary situation, um, Handong University gets all of its drinking water from Handong Lake on the campus. So if you turn on the water in mom's kitchen or in our apartments on campus, that's where the water comes from. And Handong University uses this water because it's supposed to be very, very clean, uses it for drinking water. But there's been a little bit of concern that perhaps maybe this water isn't as clean as we think it is. So the university and the president has hired your company to send some technicians out and to take some water samples and to test them and to see what compounds are in the water to see if it meets the standards set by the government to be safe as drinking water. So what I've done is the president specifically wants to know, are there any problems with the water? Are there any compounds in the water that are above the limits? And if so, what are they? Also, what are the potential health risks or health problems for those who drink this water, which contain compounds that might be above the legally accepted safe limits set by the Korean government? Um, so what you have done is your company has collected the water, has sampled and tested the water, and you have a lab report from your technicians. Your job is to write a business email to Handong University, to the president, and to basically describe the results of this, explain the results of the test to him based on the lab report and based on those two concerns that he mentioned. Okay, so that's your specific task. By the way, I have uploaded, or I will upload on HisNet, a summary of this scenario, this situation, and page 2 of that upload will be the sample lab report with the results. You'll need that because that content will become the basis of your email message that you compose. Another thing to keep in mind is our grammar review for this email number 2 is the use of the passive voice. I have, or I will upload a YouTube clip, which I've looked at least in part, and it's pretty good, where a person reviews the passive voice, how you construct it, and how and why you use the passive voice. So you should watch the YouTube clip about the passive voice before, just as a simple review before you begin to work on your email message. I should just also say very briefly that the passive voice is not used quite as much in everyday conversation as active voice because it's a little more awkward or a little more difficult. But the passive voice is very useful if you do not want to focus on the doer of the action, but you want to focus on the results of the action. And here we're talking about test results. That's why passive voice may be used more often, sometimes in lab reports or in scientific writing, engineering writing. It may be used more often in those circumstances than it is generally. So this will be a good practice and a good review for you. Again, I will upload this video on YouTube for you. I will upload the YouTube site, a YouTube video where you can review passive tense. And remember to turn in your email number 2 before the beginning of the next class to have it done on time. Good luck, and I hope this is a useful practice for you. Blessings.